Hey everybody, Jeff Yenser, creativemusicgenius.com. Thanks for watching today. And I want to share every sus4 chord in every dimension of the guitar fretboard, both up and down the frets and up and down the strings in sets of 3. Okay, I love sus4 chords. They sound really cool, you know. They're used a lot in music, you know, and you can go from sus4 to the major, right? That's done a lot in music. sus4, sus2, the major chords. There's a bunch of songs that use that type of progression, and it sounds really cool. So I want to use shapes and colors today, and mostly shapes, right? Because once you learn a shape, you can move it up and down the fretboard to achieve any sus4 chord, right? So let's check it out. I'm on the highest 3 strings, right? The E, the B, and the G, okay? And my first sus4 chord right here, this shape right here. Let me make sure you can see it. Okay, we got, lay a finger across the 3rd fret on the 1st and 2nd strings, and then a finger behind it, the 2nd fret of. You can call these shapes whatever you want. You know, if you look at constellations, right, they give those a name to like all the zodiac signs, but you look at the stars and you're like, that looks nothing like what they're describing, right? Like the Scorpio or the Capricorn, right? You look at the stars and you're like, how did they get that from those stars? So take these shapes and make up whatever name that you want to give them, whatever idea, whatever image you want in your mind, or just remember where your fingers go. However you like to do it, right? So there's my first D sus4 shape, okay? Then we move up here, and we got this shape right here, okay? So I'm gonna put my first finger on the 5th fret of the highest string, okay? Then I'm gonna skip 2 frets, put my pinky on the next string up, okay? And then I'm gonna drop my ring finger right behind it on the next string up. And we got a sus4 chord right there. Right? They sound sweet, right? You know, the tricky part is getting your fingers properly aligned on the strings and getting the feel of pressing that down just the right amount. Okay, not too much pressure, but not too little. Right? Okay, so moving up the fretboard, we got this shape right here, which I'm grabbing the first 2 strings with a single finger on the 10th fret, and then I'm going to lay my ring finger down on the G string, 12th fret, right on the G, right? That's and then the whole series repeats here above the 12th fret, right? I can make that same shape that I made the first time, right? We saw it back here. Move it up 12 frets. Right, like the 12th fret is 0, it starts over again, right? Get the same shape, and then, right, I start running out of frets, right? But I can play this shape on however many frets I got to work with, right? So you see how many different places you can play that already just on these 3 strings. But we're going to move up, okay, to another. We're going to drop out the E string. Okay, so we'll be messing with these 3 strings right here right now. So I'm going to take my green, put it up on the 5th fret, okay, of the D string. Okay, that is the D string. Okay, so I then have this shape, my pinky up there on the 5th fret of the, and then I got these 2 fingers are still where they were before, right? And I got that shape right there, okay? Almost like the Big Dipper or something. Okay, so moving up the fretboard, we're gonna take this blue one and stick it up there, okay? And we got this sus4 chord. By the way, all of these images you're seeing is going to be in a PDF on my Patreon page. We're listening to binaural beats in the background, by the way, providing that cool music with Loopy Pro. We got Rainbow the Unicorn up here just hanging out with us today, making sure that we're having fun. Okay, so the backing track and the PDF image of the fretboard here with all of this is going to be on my Patreon page. Okay, so we got that one. So now up here we're going to take the red and we're going to move it up to the 12th fret. So we got 2 fingers now on the 12th fret. Again, I could move all this up beyond the 12th fret, repeat it again, but we're going to move on, right, to the next set of strings. Okay, so now this red guy is going to come up here to the A string. So now we're playing on the A, the D, and the G strings, right? And we're dropping the B out of the picture right now. So this might be one of the harder ones to play, because you got to stretch, you know. And the good news is you don't have to play them all. They're all the same chord, right? You can pick and choose where you want to play this chord, right? That's the beauty of it, right? If you want to play up high, right, you can do that. If you want a nice high pitched sound, or if you want to play more in the mid range, right, or down low, right, you can pick another chord. Or if you're transitioning, you're in a chord progression, right, and you're transitioning in and out of this chord based on what the other chords you're using, it might be one of these that's easier to get to than the others, right? Now we're going to move up the fretboard and we're going to take the G, right, and move it up here. All right, so brief time out to look at it on the music staff if you're into that kind of thing, right? The good news is you don't have to know all this stuff to play amazing guitar, right? But if you here, we got D, we got G, and we got A. Okay, we got it over here in the circle of fifths also, D, G, and A, right? So D is red, that's the root, number 1. G is 4, that's green, and A is the 5th, right? If you were to count the scale degrees, right? That would be A. So you can see the colors. You know, the most important thing, if you're going to think about that, is maybe focus on where the root is, right? And this will give you the foundation of how to play everything else. We got this one right. I got a finger laying across the D and G strings on the 7th fret. I'm going to drop my pinky up here on the 10th fret. All right, and that gives me that shape right there. Now, I'm going to take the blue and move it right up here. Right on the 12th fret. We get everybody on the 12th fret now. And that gives me a D sus4 chord. Okay, and let's keep moving up the strings here. All right, exact same shape, right? Just on a different set of strings in a different spot. But right, we got A, D, and G, right? A, D, G, right? Straight line. That's the shape, right? The shape is a straight line. Does it get any easier than that? All right, so now I'm going to move the red up here on the 10th fret, just above the green. So this is another one. This is the exact same shape we saw before. It's a little easier to play here, maybe because the frets are closer together. Okay, and then our very last one. Again, all this repeats above the 12th fret. The green going on the 15th fret, that's the G, okay? And my index finger at the octave on the A and D strings, and then lay any finger, you know, I could put the pinky there or the ring finger, okay, and I got another sus4 chord. So you can see how many places you can play the sus4 chord all over the fretboard. Now, here I'm going to pause this music. This is the beauty of shapes. Any of these shapes, I'm going to go back to get my colors right here. I'm going to go back to this shape, right? 5th fret. So there's a D sus4 chord, right? Now if I move that up 2 frets, I get an E sus4 chord. How cool is that? If I move it up 1 fret, I get an F sus4 chord. If I move it up 2 more frets, I get a G sus4 chord, right? So let's go back to the D sus4 for a second, right? Now if I drop back a whole step, I got C sus4, a half step, B sus4, and I can go all the way back to A sus4. How cool is that? Right, so all you really got to know is there's a half step between B and C and a half step between E and F. Right, so there's D. If I go back a half step, I'm at D flat or C sharp, whatever you like. Okay, then I drop back another half step, I'm at C, right? So D to C, right? I'm skipping over 1 fret to get from D to C. So that's a whole step. If I go from C to B, that's a half step. I only moved 1 fret down, right? I didn't skip any frets. So that's how you find any chord anywhere on the neck, right? Now you could pick another spot. Let's pick this straight line here that we got on the 5th fret. D sus4, right? Move it up, E sus4, F sus4, G sus4, and so on. Just know your musical alphabet. A through G, half step between E and F, half step between B and C, right? If you forget, you can look on a piano keyboard. You kind of see 2 black keys, 3 black keys, right? So you'll notice patterns, shapes, patterns, colors on the guitar. Make it way easier to learn. Check out more videos at creativemusicgenius.com. I want to hear what you made, right? Post a link to your song, wherever it is, if you get it on the internet somewhere, whether it's YouTube, SoundCloud, or whatever. Post your stuff. Let us have a listen to what you're doing. We'd love to hear your music. In the meantime, keep on rocking.